City Lights on Location now joins Rob Lowe, and the film is St. Elmo's Fire. I just said to you before we began that it's a pleasure to meet you because I felt that for almost a year we almost had this conversation in Toronto.
That's right.
We have had to meet in Chicago.
I know.
To
Secret
speak.
rendezvous, you know.
You know, I thought, Rob, when I met you, that you'd have on your new shoes from Fred Siegel's in Los Angeles.
No, these actually are special shoes. They say, instead of Nike on the back, they say Billy the Kid. And they're custom-made shoes. So you should be impressed with this.
I am.
Oh, good.
I am. It's nice to know that when a guy starts making a little money, he knows how to spend it.
That's right.
Other than the house. As a matter of fact, when I was speaking with one of your friends and co-stars, there seemed to be a competitive edge. You know, one of the best things ever written about you happened to have been written by a dear friend of yours and a woman to whom you still refer to this day as Sis.
Yes.
Jodie Foster.
Right.
And I remembered how the two of you, having met and interviewed Jodie Foster several times, you talked about Montreal, the experience, the change in you, and what you called at the time friend withdrawal.
Yeah.
And I wonder, with St. Elmo's Fire, a fait accompli and available to moviegoers, does the actor just keep going through friend withdrawal, other than the Sheen family, who are friends and neighbors?
They keep going. You know, I think it's inherently part of the business. But I'll tell you something, Jodie Foster never went through friend withdrawal until Hotel New Hampshire, and she'd done a lot of movies. So, I don't know, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard, but she told me it. I don't know why. I think it's the people you work with. I mean, how much could she possibly pal around with Robert De Niro on Taxi Driver? Let's go out and get a couple of mohawks together? Well, I mean, what are they going to do? So I think that has something to do with it.
But also, you've also admitted, in terms of friendship and people you've worked with, that Jodie Foster is unique as an actor, unique as a human being. First of all, the woman is a linguist. You may maintain that between Nastasia Kinski and Jodie Foster, both of whom were speaking 20 languages, that your time in Montreal was an adventure being with them.
It was an adventure. It was an absolute adventure. It was very romantic. It was Montreal is a very romantic city. The movie is very romantic. It was all about love, and and there was certainly a lot of love on that set. And it was really, more than any other movie, that set had such a unique atmosphere that was unlike not only anything in the world, but unlike anything in my life. When I went back to being Rob Lowe, the person, it was just a little too much to bear.
When you say Rob Lowe, the person, and we know that you are Robert Helpner Lowe.
Right.
What's the Helpner?
Hepler.
Oh, Hepler, sorry. What is Hepler?
Hepler is my mom's maiden name. And that's my grandpa. His boy had 3 girls, and my mom had you know 3 boys. And so the Hepler name is Robbie. The Hepler name dies with you. You got to name your kids Hepler, you know. And so this is the end of a family name, and so that's my middle name.
As a young man who, in the middle of his own success, has named his production company rather propitiously Lucky Star.
Yes.
And has a father who is a lawyer, a stepfather who was a psychiatrist.
Right.
Have you ever leaned on either your father or stepfather for professional or personal advice?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the most convenient thing. I haven't been to a doctor in years, number one. I mean, no need. And, I mean, I figure I've got it knocked. If I get thrown in jail, my dad can get me out. And, I mean, I've got it either way. It's great. But I do. Professional advice, not so much as I used to. In the beginning stages, they were right there, I mean, with me. Not in a stage parent type of thing, but more of a, like, well, what is this going to do for your... They didn't want me to do my TV series that I did very early on. I wanted to do that. So, I mean, yeah, it's been a 50-50 decisions for a long time, and now it's not anymore. I mean, I'm just obviously older.
When your agents and managers tell you, on a business level, that you are in phase 2 of your career, and you say, I know exactly what they mean, what do they mean?
Well, I think that phase 2, for me, anyway, it's different for different people. Phase 2 for me was I am now regarded within the industry as a not a bankable star in that I'm sure to generate X amount of dollars at the box office, but I'm not going to freak out on the set and not deliver something that they won't be able to release, and that I have a high profile, and that's phase one. Getting to the part where we're an actor, the big break. It's making good. It's cashing in on the big break, and phase two then is what I call going for the golden ring. And you can continue to go on phase one and be great, and you can have a wonderful career, and you'll be famous forever, and you can do great work and do great movies. But there are people who get a chance to go for the golden ring as well, and that is the highest possible thing you can achieve in whatever industry you are in. And I feel that again, as I did seeing Oliver, that I can do it. I feel that I have the chance to do it, and it's very scary to do this because now it doesn't mean working. Right now, for me, it means not working. It means not doing films, and not doing Oxford Blues, not doing a class. After St. Elmo's Fire, it's a whole new ballgame for me. And when people see the movie, they'll realize this. If they haven't seen this and they're listening to us speak, they don't really know. But it's a new phase in my career that I have to continue, and I can't walk backwards anymore, and I can't go back to what I've been doing. And so maybe I'll go broke waiting. Maybe I won't. That's why I'm producing at Columbia now. I signed a deal with Guy McElwain to put a project in development there. So I'm going to try and make it happen on my own.
Sounds to me, Rob, like you were paying attention when John Irving told you that life was serious, but art was fun.
That's right.
And Jodie Foster said, "You're not a serious guy, but you're a serious actor."
That was the greatest thing. That's the one thing I wanted people to know about me, because you know, I thought for a long time people didn't take me seriously as an actor because I'm not a serious guy. And there are a lot of actors who'll sit there and they'll be like, "Brian, you know, my craft, my art." You know, I'm that's not me. I'm Rob. I'm like, I'm fun. Let's watch the Laker game after this. Let's do something like that. But when it comes to business, business is business. And just because I'm not like that all the time doesn't mean I'm not a serious actor. I take it very seriously. And I think that now maybe people are seeing that. And when Jodie said that, that was to me a big compliment.
All right. On that, we will take a commercial break and look at a scene from St. Elmo's Fire, okay? You were in Toronto. You were working on Young Blood. You were working on Young Blood, and you were saying that you hoped that Young Blood would do for skating what Raging Bull and Rocky had done for boxing, and that you were hoping, after your experiences with Orion, which is a company one should know better than to mention in front of you.
You've done your homework. That brings us back to producing. I feel that Hotel New Hampshire was absolutely poorly mismanaged. It was a debacle and an embarrassment the way they released it. And those kind of things make a person so angry, even to this moment, that is why I want to be a producer, because a film like that should not have come out at the time it did. It should not have come out in the number of theaters it did. It should not have certainly had an ad campaign with a cartoon bear. I mean, I'm still flabbergasted when I think about it. So,
Rob, it's remarks like that, and it's that kind of passion that provokes people into doing a comparative study of you at this point with the career of Warren Beatty. And however much you may reject it, your references and your business acumen about demographics, the A keys, agate lineage in newspapers, your awareness of a breakdown of your markets and the marketplace, the formation of Lucky Star Productions, your meetings with Guy McElwain, the fact that you are an unusually physically attractive man, which is a major contributing factor to your initial success, and I say that respectfully and advisedly, but when you reject, you talk about Warren Beatty and you say, Warren Beatty, one movie every 5 years, Burt Reynolds, he works too much, there's got to be something in between.
Right, exactly.
But it's, you know, you reject these comparative studies, and yet I can see why people find them in you. You're an actor, producer, businessman, and you want it all. I mean, I think of you being in Toronto and saying, Joel Schumacher's going to take me back to California. I'll go back to California. We're going to go up a hill. We're going to smoke and scream and smoke until my voice sounds like Lauren Bacall's.
That's right. We were going to do that, and you have to ask Joel why we didn't do that. There is a scene where my voice is really, it's totally thrashed up.
Sure, you're out all night with Springsteen. We know.
I can't deliver any like bombshells on your show.
Listen, you tried to meet the boss in Toronto. You had a long talk with his manager.
That's right.
You got home to L.A. and you met.
That's right.
So you and Melissa went out all night, and there went your voice.
And there went my voice. I mean, what can I say? There's certain things in life I figure that will last forever. Film being one of them. And I'm just now realizing the full extent of that. And the other thing are memories, and certain memories. And being with Springsteen, I knew that I had, if I were being totally responsible, I should go home. I should not stay with Bruce Springsteen and talk with him. But there was no way I was going to get dragged out of that room, because it's something I'll remember till like the day I die, right? And so, I mean, nothing at that moment was more important to me. And so those are the great things, the things that I cherish, are memories that, that's one of the best things about the business. People say, what do you like? Is it the sunglasses and the sushi, right? No, it's the people you meet.
You know, one of the reasons that I think your work is good in St. Elmo's Fire is because I'm sitting in front of a man, you are now 21. Mm-hmm. Billy Hicks is 23.
Right.
So you're playing an older man.
That's true.
Chronologically.
That is true.
However, as a man, you as a man, who from the age of 9, or from the work experience at 8, knew exactly what he wanted to do with his life.
That's right.
And you can talk about the effect that Oliver had on you as a child in the audience. We can talk about moving to Dayton. We can talk about the fact that before you were 13, you had appeared in 30 stage productions.
That's right, yeah.
Here we have you on screen, playing a young man who is confused, emotionally distraught, in transition, coming from a man who has had a course so clearly charted, it's almost astronomical. Or, is that the term I mean? Astronomy. I mean, it's like you're being guided.
Yeah.
It seems to me that's the challenge, to play confused, lost, and drifting while you're on a clear course.
Exactly. It was for me, because I, not only, as you alluded to, I've never really been confused about what I wanted to do, but I didn't have any sympathy for people who didn't know what they wanted to do really early. None. And I mean, I obviously didn't like that about myself. And since playing Billy, I do have sympathy for people now. And people say, well, you know, what's so, what are the comparisons? What are the similarities between you and Billy? Well, I am not an alcoholic. I'm not married, and I don't have a kid. And, you know, but I still feel really attached to Billy. And maybe it's that old theory of opposites attract, you know. Maybe he's so opposite from me, that's why I'm so attached to him. I'm not sure.
As a man who put all those months and all that effort into playing jazz saxophone, as an actor, producer, who has always wanted to do musical comedy so you could be closer to you, and as a man who has discussed starring in the life story of a rock and roller like Eddie Cochran, what are you going to do about it? You going to play Eddie Cochran? You going to keep the jazz saxophone going?
I'm going to, the Eddie Cochran story is definitely in the works. And that's kind of been my pet project. And the jazz saxophone, I'm still pecking away at it, trying to get to be as good as I look playing it on screen in St. Elmo's Fire. That I've got it. See, that's the thing with the Eddie Cochran story is I have to sing, I have to play, and I have to feel as comfortable with the instrument as I did in the saxophone. And my coach in Toronto, John Pantishin, is instrumental in helping me be comfortable with the horn. I can still, when I close my eyes, I can feel it in my hands. Do you know when you're that comfortable with a certain, it may be equipment or your car or a basketball? That's what I feel, and that's what you have to be. And that's what I have to be with a guitar, and I'm not at all now, but I will be.
When you talk the way you do about young blood, you know, when you graduated from high school, and you were accepted by UCLA, and the plan was you were going to enter UCLA and study film. You can say at this point in your life at 21, well, in terms of education, how many people can say they've been a jazz saxophonist, a hockey star? How many people have rowed for Oxford?
Right.
How many people have done what I have done? But at the same time, you express a sense of intimidation about the intellect of a friend like Jodie Foster, saying, I thought Hotel New Hampshire would be her last film. It comes so easy to her. She's so bright. She wants to write and she wants to eat. So she never has to worry about her weight.
Yeah.
Do you feel a sense of intellectual inferiority over not pursuing the academic area? I'm not minimizing your success.
No,
I'm just saying
no.
you meant to go to UCLA.
Yes. No, I do. And then, but then again, I guess I don't enough to pursue it. So, I mean, Jodie reads like you wouldn't believe, and I say, you know, I wish I could do that. I mean, I remember being at gunpoint, being forced to read A Heart of Darkness in high school, and just, you know, and I loved it. I mean, I loved it when I finished it. I hated reading it, and that's the problem with me. You know,
No gun to your head when you read Paradise Lost.
There was Paradise Lost. You know that I loathed Paradise Lost.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't get it. I mean, maybe when I'm 86 years old. I mean, the only thing amazing about Paradise Lost with it is he was deaf or blind, something like that, John Milton, when he wrote that. That's the amazing thing, but I just couldn't get it.
Is Joel Schumacher going to let you co-star with your buddy Tom Cruise in Bright Lights, Big City?
I don't know. You would have to ask Mr. Shue about that one. I'd love to work with Tom. I don't know if Bright Lights will end up being the right vehicle for both of us. That would be the problem.
Well,
And
not with the things you've got in various stages of pre-production.
that is also true. I mean, I'd love to have Tom, and I'd like to work with Joel again. Joel, I mean, to handle the egos in this cast. Not that we're all very strong ego-minded, you know, people. Without any kind of disruptions. I mean, we don't look back and say, oh God, remember the day when so-and-so you flew out? No, it wasn't like that. It was a very calm set. So I'd like to work with him again.
I've enjoyed meeting you, and I look forward to saying hello to you in Toronto.
Great, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you. City Lights on Location with Rob Lowe.